Alright, let's get started. You ever get that feeling like you're behind on shit? Well, that's me today. So, let's talk Halo. Out of frickin' nowhere. But no, in all seriousness, the real reason is actually in this notebook. Like, as I've actually... Okay, that's actually kind of amusing to me. Uh, the way I marked it down for the end of the year things is I actually put it after Fire Emblem Awakening, but I kind of felt like just putting the Fire Emblems together with the only break being FF1 just made more sense because FF1 was the break. But I figured I'd extend that by a couple of videos. Mostly because I'm behind on my videos. So there we go. So as I said in the text of my FF1 video, I'm going to give you 2 more videos before we get to 3 Hopes from your perspective. From my perspective, I recorded that months ago. From my perspective, but from your perspective, that video is still coming. I have yet to edit it. In other words, I've been editing these in the order I'm going to release them. So, there we go. I'll have some consistency, damn it. Halo. Alright. Let's start with the fact that I am not the biggest Halo fan in the world. No, that... if you want to talk a member of the unofficially named Wolfpack that I have named between me and my friends, that distinction would probably go to either Matt or another friend of ours in Chaos. Originally, this was going to be a string where I was just going to... Let's turn my monitor off so I can have an excuse to stare there. Originally, this was going to be we were going to review the games in chronological order, meaning we were going to start with Reach, then we were going to go to Halo 1, then we were going to go to Halo 2, then we were going to go do Halo 3, and then then Halo 4, or ODST, excuse me, then Halo 3 ODST, then 4, then Guardians. And then we would end, of course, with it's way over there, I'm not going to reach for it, Halo Infinite. Kind of celebrate the fact that I had gotten a Series X. Then the Master Chief Collection on the Series X decided to be borked AF and cause lag out the ass when we tried to stream it. So, you're only getting Halo Reach out of me because it's the only one I was able to successfully complete and go through. The lore runner has often said that co-op makes games better. Like, it almost feels like an automatic thing. Allow me to professionally disagree. I did actually have a game to make this speech in because I would have fuck all to talk about elsewise. But since I am never going to play that ever again, and probably will never touch that franchise outside of Arrowfell, there's your hint as to what franchise I'm talking about, by the way. I might as well say it here. Co-op does not instantaneously make something better, in my opinion. It helps. Oh God, does it ever help? But co-op needs to be good. And aside from a couple of issues Matt had trying to, keep up because the game apparently did not make him those 2 weeks. That 1 week in that one level, yeah, there is some issues with checkpointing, I will admit, with this game. But for the most part, this game is actually really good if you work together properly, like we didn't. didn't, then this is one of the best co-op games I've ever played. See, the problem, like I said, it has to be good co-op. You can't just throw co-op into a game and immediately expect it to be better. I can name several games where co-op makes the game tolerable, and and you need to have a good co-op partner for that to be the case, right? There have been several games like that. And then there's some games where playing co-op is actually detrimental. Battletoads coming to mind immediately when I say that, specifically the NES version. But Halo has always been the franchise I think of when I think of good co-op. It's actually the other reason why this whole Road to Halo Infinite thing I had planned went to shitter. Because apparently Halo Infinite either took forever or is still taking forever to get co-op. I haven't actually looked into that for a while, so shrug. But frankly, I don't care. Also, I am not getting into the Bungie versus 343 Studios. I have refused to comment on that because I don't care. It's different approaches. Which one you prefer is up to you, but I'm not going to lay judgment one way or the other. You know? This was the last Bungie Halo game, and they would go to move on to make Destiny, which I have never played. I will never play, and by all accounts, it is one of it would I would be labeling it with a label that I have literally only given to two games ever. I would be calling it the cure for insomnia. Yeah. By the way, when I call something the cure for that is essentially a wolfism. The cure for insomnia is when it's actually one of the ones I use in my everyday life. It's one of the only ones I use in my everyday life. The cure for insomnia is a work that is just so ungodly boring that it puts you to sleep. And in my opinion, that's not Halo Reach. I'm not usually an FPS guy. Not really. Not really. There are there's a specific flavor of FPS that I will play, but I'm never going to get like hardcore into it. It's actually one of the reasons why I never really got hardcore into, the Halo series, right? Why my ugh, okay, I think it's gone. Sorry. Anyways, I'm not usually big in FPSs are not a genre that I will ever love, and I'm kind of sick of people shoving them down my throat. Not. You put the camera in the first person perspective, and most of the time that is going to bore the shit out of me the fastest. Because for a long time, FPSs were the one genre that could instantly look dated. And I mean, like, just instantly look dated, especially if you're going for more realistic, which a lot of FPSs, especially in this era, in the era Reach came out, were trying to aim for. And yet, I still think that the approach Halo took, you really have to go back to like the original Xbox and not the remastered versions for the seams to really kind of show with Halo. It's actually kind of funny in its own right. Probably helped by the fact that we don't really get a lot of actual, no really human character models on screen. Usually we get like an admiral and Johnson, and then that's like it. It with a few exceptions. But what's funny is I actually feel like Halo Reach, at least as far as visually on the Master Chief Collection goes, looks really good even today. It's actually really cool. Now, obviously, I can't really go into any of the real technical differences between the guns or or the controls or whatnot. I will say, I do wish they would stop shifting the controls between games. I really do. Just stick with a single control scheme and let that be what you work with. Right? It's actually one of the frustrating elements of going from Halo to Halo. Now, admittedly, the Master Chief Collection does mitigate this because you can just rebind the controls, but having to do so per game is kind of annoying. I won't lie about that. Uh, so let me just take a look here. I like the abilities. The guns are cool. The vehicles are really good. It is kind of annoying that specific abilities have to be used for you to be able to do specific actions. Like, why is sprint an ability? That kind of thing. But the abilities are very useful, and I actually enjoy them. Um, yeah, I don't have a lot else to say. I do like the level design. I think the level design in this game is really well handled. The guns are handled. The sprinkling of guns is handled really well. Hell, I never really felt like I was too lost playing this game. Like I would have to, find my way. There was a couple of times, but again, that's all my sense of direction screwballing me, and not the game's level design being so what the hell. I got through Xenogears pretty damn well, and yeah, you want to talk samey design in some of its dungeons. Anyways, that being said, however, and that being said, however, yeah, I actually, and I even like how some of the characters are even characterized, through how they perform in the game too. And there's a lot of really cool variety in the missions. There's one where you're going sneaking along a cliff, if at night with a sniper rifle. There's one where you have to ride around in an airship. Yeah, right. There's of course the final mission that we'll talk about in the spoiler section. This will probably be a really short one, by the way, because I don't have a lot to say about Halo Reach. It's Halo Reach. It's really good. The level design is amazing. The co-op is actually good, despite some issues with the Master Chief Collection. My phone is falling because, of course, it is. And it needs to stay on the charger because it's not charged well enough yet. The you know The guns feel really good. The controls do take some getting used to, but you can rebind them. There's very little I had to say wrong about this game, which is funny because can also collectively between the three of us, me, Steve, and Matt, we came up with like 2 or 3 negatives to give the gameplay even, and this still scored. Or I could just flip one page each on this one. Plus 31 net to gameplay. Okay. Because, yeah, it was actually kind of. It was just kind of a fun game to go through. And again, gameplay wise, I would say this is probably the most impressive game I played in 2022, mostly because of how little the negatives just kind of showed up. But we do need to. But now it's time to get into the story. So this is your big spoilers. Spoilers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about the very nature of prequels for a second. Prequels are tricky because there's 3 problems with prequels. Problem number 1 is you know where the status, you know where we're going to end up, right? Oftentimes we have to get to the point where the original work picked up, right? Like this game had to basically start right at the beginning uh of Halo 1 basically. But a good prequel, even if it's even if it's the story of how a character of why a character isn't in the original work, it can actually do wonders. Prequels are the trickiest to pull off, but if you pull them off well, you get something like Crisis Core, barring a couple of hiccups, or you get Halo Reach. Noble Team 6 is actually kind of well characterized in so much of the game. There's very... how do I put it? In just a little bit of dialogue, we actually know more about Noble Team 6 than most of the other characters in the entire Halo franchise, I would argue. Because what this game does really, really well, story-wise, is characterization. Not the least of which being the scientist lady we meet named Halsey. My note actually says it perfectly. Halsey. Arrogance done right. Now, if you've seen my Valkyria Chronicles video, or stream, as my phone goes off, did you really? Yeah, you did. Son of a bitch. Anyways, sorry about that. Where was I? Right, Halsey. Anyone who's seen my old stuff has seen my Valkyria Chronicles video will know that I do not like arrogance. Arrogance is one of those things that... how do I put this? Arrogance is one of those things that tends to stick in my craw, especially when it's unearned arrogance. Halsey is a good example of earned arrogance without going to an extreme. Because here's the thing. Halsey, so we encounter Halsey, and it's like, an emergency beacon and all that Halsey laid out and yada yada yada. And Noble One is like, you do realize wasting Spartan's time is really... it is really bad idea, right? Against military code or whatever he says, right? And Halsey is like, "Are you threatening me?" And he says, "Is just making an observation, ma'am." And Halsey kind of backs off on that because she could have doubled and tripled and quadrupled down and ranted for 3 solid minutes of my work is and tried to play up her work as like the most important thing in the universe. No, 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 no. No. When she sees that the Noble Team has something that she needs to examine, she backs off, and it's like, okay, because she knows that Noble One is not, is is got a point, and isn't willing to just continue to be arrogant, doing the whole, my importance supersedes the rules because fuck you kind of thing. I may be against the rules must be followed and you must follow the rules, but again, I don't remember if I said this in my Valkyria Chronicles 1 video. I probably did, but I'm with Bailey from Mass Effect on this one. I'm all for the rules until the rules keep people from doing their goddamn job, which is actually something it was Cold Steel 1 I ranted about that on because of Claire's fucking stupidity and roar, but I went over that in that video. you know. Regardless, what's interesting about Noble Team, about Halsey specifically, is she is very confident in her importance, but she works very hard to not cross the line. She's working to try and work with them to get shit done, because she knows if she's just continues to be an obstinate bureaucrat, let's just call it what it is, if she continues to be obstinate, shit's never gonna get done. So she backs, her pride gets a little pricked. She encounters, but then she also, backs off a little bit, and I like that. Let's talk about characters meant to die next, because that is what Noble Team is. Like I said, I don't got a lot to talk about, so these segues are kind of not good. Sorry about that. Let's talk about characters meant to die. When you introduce a character that's meant to die and you do it badly, I'm I'm gonna get so much heat from the Kingdom Hearts community for this. When you do a character that's designed to die badly, you get Xion from Final Fantasy. Wow, Final Fantasy on the brain, from Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. That's what you get, because Xion's entire existence exists solely to make a plot hole in Kingdom Hearts 3, which I will not go over here, but those that have played 358 over 2 days probably know where I'm going with that. Noble Team 6? Sure, they were never invented before Reach, but it feels like you could tell me that they were always a part of the story, and I'd believe you, because their sacrifice meant everything. The deaths of the Noble Team ensured that Master Chief could go do everything that he does in the future Halo games. And yeah. And nowhere is this more evident. Now, I wrote notes for all of them. All of them, mostly because, I basically wrote them down in the order of their ends, basically. George, aka Noble 5. We have Kat, aka Noble 2. Carter, aka Noble 1. And then Noble 6, aka you. I do like that it does kind of feel like you are a part of the Noble Team, because something about that just appeals to me. Because, I from your perspective, I will be talking about this, and from my perspective, I've already talked about this. This is how you kill a character properly. You make their death mean something. And nowhere is that more evident than in that final mission, Lone Wolf. Because you know that eventually you are going to be overwhelmed by the Covenant. But you make your last heroic stand. Because Master Chief's got to go and be the star of the franchise. And as Noble Six, you make sure he can do that. And people wonder why I say self-insert fanfiction isn't bad. The only thing I can say left is Halo Reach is an amazing game. I highly recommend the entire Halo series, really, but especially Halo Reach. Blue Wolf Alex the Lore Walker is signing out while saying, Hail, the virtuous dead.